Awesome. Should we get started here?
Do it.
We'll do some introductions first. So, Jamie, if you want to kick it off.
Sure, happy to. Hi, everybody. My name's Jamie. I am the VP of Marketing here at Workshop. Very happy to be joined by the team at Brilliant Inc. for today's webinar. Honestly, I'm starting to feel like webinar is like not doing justice to these events, but that's a story for a different day. But we've all been to webinars where there's like you can hear a clock ticking in the background and there's like crickets. Never how these run. And so we're very excited to have you all today. The team at Brilliant Inc., we've known since I've started at Workshop. I've been aware of Brilliant Inc. They are an incredible internal communications agency and produce some of the best content in internal communications ever. Honestly, like we're really proud of ours too, but Brilliant Inc. might be just like an edge above, truly. Like we include their articles, their research in our Happy Monday Club newsletter. If you're a subscriber to that, really frequently on Mondays, just because it is some of the best out there. Really honored to have the team here today. You can tell even the name of this webinar is probably the most eloquent that we've ever had. So you can get a sneak preview of what you're in for today. But very happy to have them here and for you all to join us.
Thank you. Feeling is absolutely mutual. We are so thrilled to be here. We are huge fans of Workshop and really appreciate everyone's time and Workshop just for the opportunity to be doing this. So we are really excited. We're going to run through a couple of very quick intros so that you know who Becky and I really are. And then we will introduce Brilliant Inc. a little bit more, and then we're going to have a whole lot of fun. It's going to be very fast paced. We're going to leave you with a whole lot of tips and tricks. And we are excited also for everybody to be chiming in and super vocal in the chat. That's why we love these workshop webinars so much. So without further ado, let's dive right on in. So this is numbers to narratives. We're going to be using internal comms data to make a business case today. Quick introduction about Brilliant Inc. So Becky and I are the research team at Brilliant Inc. is a boutique internal communications agency, been around since 2008. And our CEO has actually been doing internal comms. She's one of the very few for her entire career. So she came into internal comms intentionally. Who knew? And so we help leaders, communicators, companies really of all shapes and sizes navigate change and help get employees aligned at every single moment throughout the employee lifecycle. As mentioned, of course, Becky and I are the research team because no communication strategy is complete without data. We partner with IC Pros just like each of you. Every single day, we help collect, understand, analyze, interpret all of your different types of data. And then, of course, use it to do all sorts of things like optimize communications and use it to make a business case. All right. So just so that you know what you're getting yourselves into, what you all signed up for, you're going to want to buckle it up. All right. Becky and I get very excited about data and even more excited about using it to make a business case. So I am Jackie Berg. I am the head of research and business development here at Brilliant Inc. And I have been working with data or in data in some capacity throughout my entire career. I really love helping people understand their data, knowing what and how to pay attention to different aspects of it, and then really feeling confident about using it to make decisions.
Love that. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for joining. I'm Becky Sennett. I'm VP of Research at Brilliant Inc. So my background is in all sorts of communications, and it was really my experience of working with in-house internal comms folks like yourselves and seeing all the responsibility on your plates and how you're pulled in a million directions every day. It really inspired me to focus on empowering you all to use your data to prioritize your efforts, resources, and time.
All right. So get started here. One thing, again, that we know about workshop webinars, the chat is very active. So prove us right and tell us, pop into the chat, let us know. When you hear, I need to make a business case or I need to get buy-in, what sorts of things come to mind? What kind of information are you usually looking for? Or what kinds of cases are you trying to make? All right. So we see how much money will it save? ROI, clear calls to action and decision points, qualitative and quantitative. How can we prove the impact? Why the intranet is important? A connection to how I see it helps the business make money.
These are good.
Yeah.
We need to see a plan. Yep. Dollars, dreaded PowerPoint creation. You're in the right place.
ROI. Yeah. No big deal, right?
No pressure.
Or can't you just send an email? Yep. All these things, all the things that we have to do. Absolutely no problem. So let's just say all good business cases open with the same type of thing, right? Once upon a time, let's see if this resonates with you all. We were stuck using Outlook to send all of our internal emails at our company. And that was obviously just the worst, was it not? So obviously we knew we needed to make a change at our corporate company, right? And so we, meaning you all, the internal communications pro, you've done all of the discovery. You have sat through all of the demos. You've done all of your due diligence. Well done, you. And let's just say we've identified three options that are viable to move forward. Option one, this is the worst option, is not. We can stick with Outlook. Lame. We can use marketing's email tool because that's usually option number two, which solves some, but certainly not all of our problems at all. Or option three, which is the dream, of course, we could have a fantastic internal tool like Workshop. Who doesn't want that? So obviously, we know what we really want here, right? We want Workshop. We have to put together that business case so that we can get our leaders to buy in to buy Workshop. And so it's time to make that case. We know what we need to do here. You all just said it in the chat, right? We got to be cool. We got to be calm. We got to be collected. We got to be confident. We got to be strong. Maybe one or two really strong data points that are somehow going to show ROI and really help seal the deal for our stakeholder. But for some reason, when we open up PowerPoint, there's a compulsion to start adding, sprinkling in some context over here, maybe a little bit more background over there. Let's add a quote or two, probably some background on the entire history of internal communications. Maybe, we probably need a good stat about TikTok. We're hearing just it feels relevant and important. There's probably going to be a lot of AI in here, maybe a stat from that Gartner report. It's from 2016, but maybe they won't click on it and it doesn't really matter. That's really important data. And then, of course, every single feature of Workshop, I want to make sure that they know all the things and everything that it can possibly do, whether it's relevant to that stakeholder or not. And then really by the time that we're ready to really ask for approval, we've cluttered up that narrative so much. And also, by the way, introduced so many different talking points that probably raised so many questions that now require so many follow-up conversations. Or we ran out of time in the meeting. Either way, it's 2028 now, and we're still sending emails via Outlook. We've not succeeded in getting buy-in at all. And so today, we are going to cut through the clutter. We're actually going to walk through three different business cases. We're going to introduce very new ways of making very compelling business cases using some of the most succinct and persuasive story arcs out there. And the good news is we are all already familiar with all of the pieces of these stories. We're going to get started with Swiffer. Becky, take it away.
All right, let's do this. So, what is the first thing we usually see in a commercial for cleaning products? Throw it in the chat. A mess. Yep. Dog hair, women. Yes. A spill, messy kid, spilled stuff. Yes.
Correct.
All getting sweaty. We're all getting that anxiety. Struggling homeowner. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Swiffer always starts by hitting on my pain point. They know my pet is adorable, but his fur is everywhere and I can't stand it. And just to be clear, I am a proud cat mom. He will probably make an appearance at some point. But yes, his fur is also literally everywhere. Swiffer then doubles down on my pain point. They show the montage of how I've tried everything to stay on top of the pet fur, but my pain point persists. Then they preview what could be. They introduce a solution. They show me just how effectively the Swiffer can wipe away pet fur. And it's that juxtaposition of a dirty floor with that really delightful, calming streak of super shiny hardwood floor. They then show me how the magic happens. You just connect, attach, clean, remove. It is so freaking simple. And then lastly, Swiffer is ready to seal the deal. This magic Swiffer is available at these retailers. Go buy it today. We're all very familiar with this. So, the Swiffer commercial shows us a super tight story on how to convince someone to get a solution now. We're going to show you how this exact same Swiffer story arc can work in internal comms. So, let's go back to the example that Jackie started with. We need to make a case for workshop. We're done using Outlook. We're not going to use MailChimp anymore. How can we use the Swiffer story arc to convince our to contribute budget for workshop? So first, I'm going to hit my CHRO with their pain point. Swiffer showed us the tumbleweeds of pet fur everywhere. I'm diving right into illustrating my stakeholders' pain points. Swiffer doesn't waste time explaining why it's good to keep a clean house. I don't want to waste time outlining the importance of digital tools in today's workplace. Okay, stakeholder, open enrollment is around the corner and lots of big changes are coming. You also know, stakeholder, that our company relies on Outlook more than any other channel to distribute information about open enrollment. Sending out this critical information via Outlook is like sending it into a black hole, into an untrackable abyss. We have no data. We don't know who's opening these important messages and updates, or if people are even opening them at all. Then I'm doubling down on my stakeholders' pain point. Swiffer showed all the various cleaning methods that I've tried to get rid of the pet fur. I'm letting my stakeholder know, hey, we tried MailChimp, the tool that the marketing team's using, but we're still missing audience insights. The pain point, like the pet fur, persists. And just to emphasize here, this should really be a quick rundown for this slide. Truly one slide, not a place to spend a ton of time. Then I preview what could be. I'm introducing a solution. So Swiffer showed how effectively it can wipe away pet fur. Here I'm showing what's possible with an email platform that's designed for internal communications. Workshop syncs with our people data. Remember those audience insights that we're missing? Guess what? This solution would give us real clarity on who is opening our messages about open enrollment and who we might be missing. And you know what's not on this slide? Every single feature or functionality that we personally are really excited about. Because guess what? Our stakeholder doesn't care. They don't need to know that. This is only about prioritizing what's in it for your stakeholder, what answers their pain points, which is why I'm leading with the feature or features of my new solution that speaks directly to their pain point. Now I'm showing my stakeholder, how we can make this happen. Swiffer told us those simple steps to take, connect, attach, clean, remove, beautiful. When I'm sharing my next steps with stakeholders, how do I make it feel as quick and seamless as Swiffer did? And remember, these are my next steps. I'm going to ask my stakeholder to take next steps when I seal the deal. So, stakeholder, I have a draft implementation plan already pulled together to roll this out. I have a plan to train communicators and how to use it. No sweat. I've got this handled. You just need to say yes. Finally, I've gotten to the biggest step of them all. I'm ready to seal the deal. I'm making my call to action to my stakeholder crystal clear. Swiffer told us the retailers where it was available for purchase and urged us to go buy it today. I'm letting my stakeholder know what I need from them today to make this happen. And I'm also letting them know what the overall estimated investment is for this new solution.
All right, y'all. So we're going to recap what Becky just did in a second. But first and foremost, I want to go through those different components and talk about just how powerful this is. There are three extremely high impact points that are made from both Swiffer and in Becky's case study that she just did. It's about hitting the pain point, previewing the possibility, and showing them how we're going to get to the next step. And so our fellow communicators, our fellow data enthusiasts, you all are extremely well equipped to tell a really compelling story with these points. First and foremost, you know your stakeholders. You do know what makes them tick. You know what is going to really entice them. You know what's going to make their heart really sing. You also know what's in it for them. You know their pain points. You also have the really strategic and creative chops to surface these types of recommendations and to identify new solutions like workshop. And you know how to make those ideas really shine in the eyes of your stakeholders. Thirdly, and of course, let's be honest, they can't do it without us or without you, of course. So you know the steps to make it happen, those different questions that they're going to be asking. And of course, y'all, you have the skills to pull it off. It's all three of these things combined that allow us to seal the deal. Once we've answered all those questions, once we've nailed that delicate balance, once we've created that story arc, lo and behold, we're ready, which is why, of course, we refer to these three as the money slides, because that perfect combination will give you the tools and the confidence that you need in order to ask for that investment and to seal the deal.
That is right. So, looking back at the Swiffer example, these are our hashtag money slides. So, this is the priority content that we want and need to cover to pitch our idea and get to the yes. So, two things about this that I want to call out. First, the title of this webinar is Using Your Comms Data to Make a Business Case. You might have noticed there isn't really data in this example. Sometimes the absence of data can make just as compelling of a business case if you're truly tailoring the business case to your stakeholders' pain point. Swiffer didn't tell us the percentage of fur that it is sweeping up, but it was a visceral example that spoke to me and I was sold. The next thing I want to call out, you might be asking yourself, are you really telling me to only put together 5 slides? The answer is no. And with that, we would love to introduce you to the honorary third member of the Brilliant Inc. research team, the appendix. So the slide appendix should be roughly 80 to 90% of your deck. It's not an afterthought. It's really the strategic tool. So think about our stakeholder and the questions they might ask us or the holes that they might poke. This is where that additional information goes. So maybe it's additional details on the tactics we try to make MailChimp work, or maybe some other stats or data points that we might have handy. Perhaps it's more detail on Workshop or other platforms that we looked at. Even though it's not part of our main story and the money slides, if our stakeholder asks us a question, we want to be able to find it in the appendix and speak to it confidently. And if we plan our appendix right, it's really this lovely security blanket that allows us to charge through those money slides and really seal the deal. How fun is this?
Fine.
It's the perfect way to spend a Tuesday morning, isn't it? We think so. All right. So that example was for securing buy in for workshop. That sort of story arc is also relevant for things like trying to get any internal comms tool or channel, hiring agency support like Brilliant Inc. or additional headcount, or maybe launching or expanding a program or initiative. Just a few ideas. It can be used in a variety of ways. All right. So now let's say we want to pitch an executive communication strategy to one of our leaders. So we're going to look at the story arc from WW, which is formerly known as Weight Watchers. They do a really good job of convincing their target audience to commit to change over time. So let's look at how.
All right. Just like Swiffer, Weight Watchers does a great job of first and foremost hitting their audience with a pain point. To say, I have some sort of goal that I really want to hit. Maybe it is eating healthier, or maybe it's maintaining my weight, maybe it's losing weight, maybe it's just joining a community of other healthy people. But for some reason or another, I hate everything about the process of getting there. It's too hard. It's too boring. Maybe I have too much doubt or it's too unrealistic for my lifestyle. Whatever it is, Weight Watchers does a really good job of hitting the pain point about, hey, look, I have a goal and whatever it is that I'm doing in order to go about it on my own, it's not working right now. cut to Weight Watchers. Now, unlike Swiffer, they don't start with that beautiful sweeping across the hardwood floor and showing us the glimmering possibilities. They start with showing us how the program works. It's the how to that actually leads to the buy in on this particular one. Are you kidding? No bland foods. It's delicious. Look, it's super supportive community that looks like a party. A focus on being and not just about my weight. Yes, please sign me up for that. Oh my God. And then they're doubling down on that too. So there's even more. The how becomes even more tangible. They're always showing us the app and the fact that they'll do the math for us, especially because we all hate numbers, do we not? And so they're showing us just how easily this can fit into my daily life. It really is starting to feel like this could work for me. And now they're making it even that much more compelling. I'm already sold. I'm already starting to buy in. And then they start to show me the possibility that can come with sticking with this plan that they have laid out. Look at the results that I could get if I commit and let Weight Watchers support me on this journey. And then it's time to seal the deal. Now, here's what I absolutely love about this example. This is not a cute little 1 week trial to give it a little gentle try. Weight Watchers is confident in their solution. The default selected option is the longest available membership. And that is precisely the flow and the tone and the general level of confidence that we are going to use to make the case for a leader to follow our annual comms plan and the strategy that we have laid out for them. So here we go. First, let's hit our stakeholder with that pain point. Now, similar to WW, maybe it was just losing weight, maintaining weight, just being healthy in general, struggling with it. There is a metric out there. Maybe it's the ENPS score, maybe it's a retention or intent to stay, maybe it's whether people are hearing enough from a particular leader. Maybe it's sales data. Maybe it is absolutely anything, something that a particular leader or stakeholder needs to improve, or something that they actually need to maintain and build upon. Whatever this pain point is that you decide to highlight here has to be one that gets their attention. This is one that's saying, look, hey, we got our survey results back and your people want to hear more from you. We have both the quantitative data and some of the qualitative data. And we are really highlighting the fact that that's how, if you think about it's a good thing, people are saying they want more from you, not less, they want even more. Just like WW, cut straight to the how to. So remember, Weight Watchers really hit my pain point. We started with the person who's measuring raw almonds or something, which is just upsetting. And so something that we know that we want to improve it. So after hitting on that pain point, Weight Watchers, once again, didn't take a few minutes to walk me through their company goals or introduce their leadership team, nor did they take to explain to me the benefits of living a healthy lifestyle. They dove straight into showing me how they're going to support me and framed that comprehensive program in a really engaging and enticing and approachable way. So here we just did on our stakeholders' big pain point, and it might be tempting to bring up our company goals or a new introduction to our team or our entire functional plan for the year. So don't do that. Go straight from their pain point to your plan. So here's everything that we've been doing today. It's great. It's blah. It's upsetting. And here's that delicious food, that party atmosphere, all the different and great ways that we can support you, leader. It's way more fun. It's way more engaging. And not to fear, internal comms has your back. And so this is one where we always get a lot of engagement in the chat for this one too. So most folks don't really think to plan or to use their executive comms plan for the year as like a sales pitch. But what if you really did and you did frame these things as new and exciting and you tried some different language to really get their attention and really show them the fact that this is really thoughtful, this is very intentional, and we're not going to make this a miserable slog for you. We're going to make this an engaging experience because you're very important to us. So we're going to keep on going with that how. So let's show them exactly how we're going to fit into their daily lives. So our stakeholder is probably already buying in at this point because of how well we just nailed the previous slide. They're excited for our support. They're excited to partner with us. But wait, there's even more. So just like Weight Watchers, let's make that how even more tangible. So here's all of your existing tactics already laid out for the year so you can see. And then look at how easily we're going to build upon all those things you're already really comfortable with. We're going to be with you every single step of the way. You don't even have to worry about strategy number two until way throughout the year. It's no big deal. You've got time on that one. Same thing with this other one. We're not talking about a huge commitment. We're talking about once a quarter, every few months. We're still going to be there every single step of the way for you, all the support. Now we're going to keep on going on the how. We're going to show them once again how we're going to be fitting into their daily lives. So this is another one where sometimes we tend to go and include way too much detail. So where Weight Watchers might have shown us a montage or a highlights reel, let's just show them a quick snapshot of everything that we have in store. This is the bright, shiny object. This is how we can make sure that we are really sealing the deal with them and getting them that much more tangible about how excited they should really be. And then if you have this type of data, that's fantastic. We're previewing the possibility, just like the way that they showed us how other people who are just like me may have experienced weight loss or another metric has gone up or down the way that they wanted. There were customer testimonials that made me really believe that program could work for me if I commit. So stakeholder, hey, you know that you are not performing quite as well as group B. FYI, we helped them over the past 2 years exactly the way that we are proposing to help you. You want to be them, and we can help you really get there. If you do have leaders that are competitive with one another, this is a very tactful way of putting that out there. And so that said, it's time to seal the deal. Remember, Weight Watchers was not afraid to ask for a long-term commitment right away. So here I'm showing my stakeholder exactly what I need to get this plan going and everything I need for them to join us there. Once again, the appendix slide, this might be additional survey verbatims. This might be more details on your communications plan or specific timing, maybe even more creative examples of some of the tactics that you're proposing. And of course, how you plan to measure the progress of your overall new strategy. So we went from Weight Watchers, it's bland, it's horrible, it's not working, all the way through to a long-term commitment and use that exact same story arc to get buy-in on our exec comms plan and strategy.
All right, I love it. So we use that story arc for getting buy-in for an exec comm strategy. And you can also use that type of story arc for things like, say you're rolling out self-service comms tools and you need to get stakeholders or partners to adopt them. Maybe you want to introduce an employee listening strategy, or you want to roll out an ongoing benefits campaign or launch a new town hall strategy. There's lots of different ways that you can use that particular story arc to get commitment to change over time. All right, last one. Here we go. So now let's say you want to celebrate a big one. You might not technically think of this as a business case, but you are making a case for how strategic you are and the impact that you're bringing to the organization. And to us, that is pretty important. So, our other two examples were focused on pitching solutions or a long term change that would take place in the future. This example is taking a look back to celebrate the journey and outcome that has happened. So, we are going to get some inspiration from Home Depot. First, they hit me with a pain point. It's always someone looking around an area in their home and it's a little bit drab. It's something that can be improved with a fresh coat of paint or something else. Next, Home Depot shows me how they can make it better. And it's always Home Depot employees with their orange aprons, helping people pick out stuff at the store, weighing the pros and cons of each item. It really feels like a partnership, even when I go home and do it myself. Next, it isn't a preview of the possibility. It's actually a sizzle reel of happy results, showing proof of just how helpful Home Depot was to transforming my space. Man, I feel really good that I partnered with Home Depot. And then Home Depot seals the deal by previewing a future possibility, showing all the other ways that we could partner together. Hey, we know you like feeling accomplished. Partner with us again and all your other projects to make all your other dreams come true.
Amen. This is actually my very favorite one. So we're going to use that exact same Home Depot story arc and walk through an example of how this does indeed work for IC. So reminder, this is a look back of what's already been done to celebrate a really great outcome. All right. So let's say you have a quarterly report to do to a stakeholder about your newsletter performance. This is also relevant for absolutely any channel where you might be working with folks. If you've ever struggled or wondered about how to turn newsletter, or sometimes referred to as vanity metrics, into something really interesting for your stakeholders, this is it. Listen up. So first, let's remind them of the pain point. So reminder with Home Depot, it's always someone looking around with a beige room and it's drab and it's upsetting. Without saying it, we can tell just by looking, it needs a fresh coat of paint. All right. Hey, stakeholder, last year, your thing, your program, your initiative, your whatever it is, it's really valuable. And you know what? People just weren't paying enough attention to it. In fact, compared to other programs, it was actually down, really down with overall performance, which is just so upsetting. So next, let's show them a reminder. Cut to the montage of the orange aprons at Home Depot. Let's give this stakeholder a recap of all of the different ways that we helped empower them. This is a before and after story. So stakeholder, remember last year, this is all that we were really doing together. It was boring, it was beige, it was drab. And then of course, we launched all these really new and exciting initiatives together. And once again, instead of this being, which we've gotten these sample decks from our clients before and seen these like 58 slides of all the different initiatives, give them a montage, give them a sizzle reel, show them. Home Depot showed us how to do it, and then we saw all the great ways that we made it happen. So here's the tools, the templates, the presentations, the programs, all of the different ways that we really helped support this stakeholder with their communications all around the company. And I would also ask you, how many times have you actually gone back and showcased a highlights reel like this after a particular initiative? Hopefully, a lot of you have really good examples of all of that. So this is the moment. So stakeholder, look at how much we accomplished together. Look at everything that we built, everything that we did, everything that you did, and how much visibility you earned. None of that would have happened. It wouldn't look nearly as good, of course, without our help, which goes, of course, without saying. And once again, it's not a preview of the possibility. This is a highlights reel of the results that we've earned. Stakeholder, as a reminder, we spotted that opportunity together because there just wasn't enough attention on your very important thing. And we are thrilled to report that clicks on your initiative now are way, way up thanks to our incredible partnership. And here is the data already to prove it. So don't be afraid to brag. You can show these types of results from all the different angles that you have available to you. So here's, in fact, one more. This is actually a real case study from a real client that we were able to do this with. And as a for instance, it was all of your newsletters probably have job opportunities, job openings in them. This was literally what it looked like. They were just including them down at the bottom of the email. We rejiggered them, reinvented them, really shown, helping us show a spotlight on job opportunities and internal mobility. And this is indeed what really happened. We asked HR, hey, by the way, how much money have you saved this year from internal transfers or internal applicants filling some of these really high value roles? They quantified it for us, and it was indeed a six-figure amount. So HR is estimating that thanks to this amazing partnership between the two of us, thanks to my newsletter promoting clicks to your internal job site, we've saved the company X hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, or excuse me, so far this year. Look at us go. If you are able to get that type of real business data, go back and do it. And just like Home Depot had a laundry list of other possibilities and other projects that they could help with, here's all of our other partnership ideas that we have. Show what else could be possible. And then, of course, seal the deal. Here's stakeholder, here's everything that we would want to do together, all these huge, big ideas that we have. And here's a small investment that you can make in order for us to make it happen for you. And don't forget about, of course, your friend, the appendix. Any holes that your stakeholders might poke, any other questions that they might ask, any other creative samples or tactics, anything else that you think that you might need, deeper details on proposed additional ideas, ever you think you might need. You partnered with them, you brought more visibility, more engagement around their content, and now you're able to show them the results of your strategic advisement and partnership. Of course, you could have a success story like this for absolutely anything. It could go back and have a great before and after story about open enrollment or results from your executive communication strategy or really any success of any kind. And where Becky and I have been very strict during this presentation about refraining from showing a million things, if you have a full bunch of data slides, we can all go nuts. Include as many types of sort of ROI as you really want there. If you've got that really powerful data, don't be afraid to show it off.
That is right. All right. We are in the home stretch. So before we pass it back over to Jamie and Kelsey, we have a few gifts and resources and some parting words of wisdom.
And all this will be shared. Our colleague Claire is sharing in the chat as
Yeah. So we have a handy worksheet and guide to help you all storyboard your own business case based upon these three examples that we shared today. It's very helpful if we do say so ourselves. And then if you want to improve and uplevel your storytelling skills, we are big fans of Nancy Duarte's Resonate and Everyday Business Storytelling from Janine Kurnoff and Lee Lazaris. And then we talk a lot about putting yourself in your stakeholder shoes. We have a white paper all about personas, and there's lots of tips and tools in there to help you accurately reflect your key audiences and their sentiments. So use it to understand your stakeholders even more than you already do. And if you want to brainstorm or dig into your data or business case, feel free to set up a call with me and Jackie. It will be the most fun call you have all week.
no pressure. So in closing, we are confident that next time you're ready to make the case for that investment or new software or headcount or anything else, your stakeholder presentation is absolutely never going to look like this ever again. Remember to stay focused on those money slides. Remember to make them really powerful. And also just remember that you as internal comms pros, you have got this. You know your stakeholders, you have the data that you need, and you are absolutely able to preview the possibility. And y'all, you've waited long enough. You've earned this. So damn, you're good. And damn, workshop is good. And we will pass it back over to you, Jamie.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Following Jackie and Becky is a real challenge, but I'm going to do my best here.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. There we go. Okay, so it looks like we'll have some really good time for Q&A. So go ahead and start getting your questions about leadership, ROI, anything that's been brought up so far today in that Q&A section in the bottom of your Zoom. You can also hop into chat too. Kelsey will be keeping an eye on that as well. And then I just wanted to do a quick overview just to bring it all together and offer another really practical way to do this number to narrative story. So obviously tracking metrics is huge. Workshop's really passionate about data and analytics as well. And just to make sure you're able to really loop stakeholders in on what's working and not working. One of the most practical ways to get the leadership team involved is to really get their emails into your comms platform, really take hold of those and be able to share that performance data back. I know Daphne was in the chat earlier and she mentioned that leaders really long to get their teams to actually read their communications and email. That is so true, Daphne. And so many of them don't have that data today. The amount of times we've had a customer start with workshop and they've put their CEO letter, for example, into workshop and been able to go back to that CEO and say, your emails have a 63% open rate. Immediately that CEO will be like, how do I get it to 100? Why is it not 100? And then suddenly you're in this strategic conversation with them, right? About open rates, about content, about really how to engage employees. So If you have any struggles with the leadership team in particular on ROI or on being seen as more strategic, executive communications is just such a great way to go. We do have specifically a CEO like template for emails too that you can take a look at. We'll drop the link to this in the chat and we'll also include it in a follow-up email, but just a free resource to get you started. If, for example, your CEO doesn't have a great template or a great email that they're regularly sending today, this is just a good starting point for you. Even for ourselves, we actually do this as well. So our CEO at Workshop, Rick, he sends an email on Fridays called the Friday Focus. And it's just what is on his mind that week. And then we're able to gather all that data up in a campaign in Workshop and say, here are the topics that are resonating with employees. Here's good open times. Here's when you should think about sending it. Obviously, it's called the Friday Focus, so I can't argue he should send it on a different day. But it's really great data to have. And again, you get to have all of those great conversations that you've probably been craving with the leadership team as well. Lastly, I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about Workshops. So we're an internal communications platform that's focused on email and SMS. We help you create, send, manage, measure all of your internal communications, and we're built only for internal comms. So anything that you can imagine that you'd want for your workflow, we've probably got it. Really easy drag and drop editor, very easy to use. And we actually just launched a Canva integration today. So you can bring in all of your designs directly into Workshop. I'm in marketing and I will say, I know that the comms team is using Canva and we don't discourage it. You need the resources that you need. And I know marketing's probably not helping out as much as they should be with that. So we definitely lean into that as well. And we sync with your HR and payroll data. So you never have to manually upload or spot check a distribution list ever again. You can know that if you're emailing Austin employees, you're emailing every Austin employee and you didn't need to add or subtract anybody. And of course, we have all the analytics that you could want, and you're able to segment all of that by department, by location, by role, all of those things, and really drill in and see who's engaging with what. So if that sounds interesting to you, check out useworkshop.com. There's a really great 2-minute overview video you can take a peek at, and you can easily schedule a demo there too and see more. And I think that'll do it. I think we're good for questions, and Kelsey's going to help us moderate a little bit here.
Yes, we've got a lot of great questions coming in. But first, Becky, Jackie, and Jamie, thank you so much for walking us through this. It was such a wonderful presentation. And Jackie and Becky, I just have to say the chat was blowing up, and we even got a question about your slide deck and how well put together it was, how beautiful. People want to know the tool you were using for it. So great job on the deck.
Thank you very much. And also shout out to Claire Turk who's in the chat as well, who is our branding lead. So the reason that all of our communications look that beautiful is huge thanks to her. It's PowerPoint. Yep. Just plain old.
Wow.
Great.
Shout out to Claire.
Hey, Claire.
Awesome. All right. To kick us off here, someone has asked, can you share more detail about why using your marketing tool or the marketing email platform is not ideal for internal comms? Because those platforms track analytics.
We can take it unless Jamie, you want to jump into that.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy to hear it.
Unsolicited endorsement. But with these internal tools, they tend to be connected to your HRIS, which means you can bring in many of the different attributes about your employees. You can slice and dice things by department, by title, by level, by start date. Start date, by a whole lot of things. Usually, I don't think that any marketing tools have HRIS connected to it. Employees are also able to unsubscribe very frequently to those, which is really terrible. I'm getting all the nods. This is fun. Like a dance. Those two things just off the top of my head.
And I will say Workshop has a really good resource on their website that compares Workshop to MailChimp and the pros and cons and answers that question really well and builds on what Jackie said. So I encourage you to go take a look at that as well.
And one other thing also, so that business case for the CHRO actually even started with the fact that I don't know what percentage of the chat, probably your HR team is either just finished or starting or in the middle of a workday integration, like a big bad workday. And so that's all about people data. And they spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year on maintaining their people data. And so for email, which is almost certainly the number one channel for communications, not to be leveraging that super valuable people data is just silly. So yeah, that's one more good reason.
Yeah, I think I don't have much more to add. I will say the only other thing is that a lot of times that tool is being used because the budget was already approved with marketing. All of your data from those emails ends up being smushed with all of marketing, and you can't, there's just no easy way for you to segment all of that out. And yeah, managing the distribution lists alone, like, no. I know.
Yep. Awesome. All right. We have a question in here. How do I convince leadership that shying away from communications won't make negative feedback go away? How do I build the story that regular engagement decreases negative feedback of the company organization?
Becky, do you have that? I have a lot.
Go for it.
I I want to cry a little bit with that one. How do you convince leadership that shying away from communication, it's almost like they're still going to be happening just behind closed doors now. And so it's much better to be able to confront these things, have different communication tactics that you're using, and convince leaders that, look, what we're doing right now is producing negative feedback or resulting in negative feedback. Here's what we mean by negative feedback, also, so that it's not just an anecdote. Here's who's saying negative feedback. Here's how multiple people are responding to this. So I think it's also making some of that a little bit more tangible, a little bit less anecdotal, a little less broad. And then thinking through the fact that, look, one type of communication isn't going to make all this go away, but here's different types of tactics or communications plans that we can use to help move the needle with various groups. So negative feedback, it might still happen, but at least you can understand why and have different ways that you're attempting to address it with smaller groups of employees.
And I would add, I'm also interpreting this as in the absence of consistent and regular communication from a leader, the rumor mill is going to swirl. That will not go away. And you could get some qualitative data points by talking to a few folks across the organization and asking what they're hearing, the rumblings, et cetera, and bringing that to your leader and really using those comms to address some of those rumors and so on.
Yeah, I think the only other thing I would add, I think that's all perfect. If you feel like there's like a culture of that's fighting against you, often we'll recommend finding some leader in some department that is open to that conversation and almost using them to create like a pilot or an internal use case. And once everybody else starts to see that and really see there's some tangible meaningful change there, then people can be a little bit more open rather than like you going up against the entirety of the leadership team or culture there.
Totally.
It's such a great point. And also I feel like we found a lot of success too in that level that's below the C-suite, but above your direct manager. So the VP level tends to also be great advocates who are willing to try these things and open to different types of communications.
Yeah. And with some of our clients, we'll do almost like a comms leaderboard for leaders to show who's engaging across platforms, how that's resonating. And leaders, I think, are mostly competitive. So by doing it, they might feel a little bit more inclined to get on the bandwagon.
I like that.
Very cool. All right. I love this next question. We're often told open rates and clicks are nice, but how do our IC initiatives help save the company money or bring money in? Any guidance on how to approach those conversations or what metrics can be gathered that resonate with more go-to-market leaders?
Okay. So before coming to internal comms, I was in advertising and data marketing for my entire career. And no one else gets asked this question, by the way. It's not a thing anywhere else, but I know we bump up against it all the time in internal comms. It's been on this side for 9 years. It's so, first and foremost, there's that. But second of all, putting my advertising hat back on, there's no such thing as one linchpin message that absolutely moves the needle. Things take multiple exposures, you're gaining awareness, you are gaining interest, and then you're getting folks to actually do different things or take different actions. Understanding the fact that, similar to the Home Depot ad that we were showing with sort of the montage or the highlights reel, here's everything that we did. And here are some of the different before and after items that we help move the needle on. And these things, anybody can poke holes in them, right? Because obviously these are employees. Employee research is also really finicky because we're asking folks questions and it's not in a controlled environment. We're not in a laboratory. People's moods are going to interpret different things, whether they have something else going on. And so there's a lot of variables that go into this. However, if you have the data and you feel confident that you have driven traffic or driven awareness in a measurable and tangible way, and then that is resulting, you also have this thing over here where you can connect the dots back to a positive business outcome or a positive business result. That's as well as advertisers or marketers can do also. It's not about one-to-one causation. It's about those correlations and feeling very confident that you very intentionally drove traffic, you drove awareness to these various items through all these different channels.
Yeah, I love that. It's such a good question, by the way. And I would say Jackie and I have been doing a lot of surveys recently where we're probing into productivity and how long people are spending looking for information, responding to messages, like just that headspace. And especially among sales teams, for example, where time is money, those metrics are really powerful. If you get a baseline before maybe you roll out a new channel or strategy, and you can show our salespeople were spending 15 hours a week looking for stuff. Since this tool, we've got that down to 5, knowing in turn they're spending more time with customers and so on. So that's another thought.
Great point.
Yeah, it's like you're measuring if employees are informed about something or not, and you're like, the alternative is that they aren't informed, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that the
Yes.
that's the path that we should go.
Yeah.
Don't quite think that makes any sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
The last point I just want to
Awesome.
Oh, I was just gonna say is that seriously,
Wow.
your clicks, your views, page views, that's all that we have. That's also all that marketing has and things like that. And so be really confident in that. And again, in drawing correlations. So it's all we've got, but it's a lot better than what other departments are doing to prove how they are moving the needle or how they're driving business results.
Awesome. Probably time for a few more questions. If we don't get to your question, we'll send a follow-up email. We will send all of the resources. So definitely be on the lookout in your inbox for that. But we do have time for a few more. So how about addressing the challenge of reaching employees who do not use a work email address? So like personal home emails are very limited. Are there other ways to reach these employees if they do not have a work email address?
Yeah, I can do a starter on that one for sure. Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the things we always recognize at Workshop is that you will never reach 100% of your employees with any single channel. And that's just not the goal, right? You don't want in 100%. I mean, we all want it, but we're never getting it on any single email. So having a variety of other channels to reach those employees is definitely the key. We love SMS for frontline or deskless employees for sure. That's a great way, or we all have our cell phones with us. So that's a great way to reach some employees. We often recommend like intranets and instant messaging platform as well. And usually with those 4, you end up having pretty solid coverage across your employee base. And that's a really good start. But again, if you can't reach 100% of your workforce with email alone, that's completely okay. And you just want that variety.
That's right.
Agreed.
Amen. to that. And thank you so much, Jamie, for being probably the only tech representative in all of internal comms to say that your platform will reach 100% of employees.
Of course.
Love it.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to do one more here. Who's usually responsible for creating an internal comms plan? I'm the director of communications and have been tasked for creating a strategy, but I've also heard that HR should be doing this. Any advice for this person?
Go ahead, Becky.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think it depends on, at least based on our experience, where internal comms sits in the organization. typically we see the internal comms team responsible, but they will partner with functional folks like HR to help them develop their comms plan, maybe for open enrollment or whatever it is, or pulling some of those key milestones from functional partners into sort of a holistic editorial calendar. So I think it depends, but typically we see that sit with comms.
Yeah. And at least being a partner with
Yeah.
whomever that other stakeholder is always.
Mm-hmm. Dotted lines. We always hear that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Jackie, Becky, Jamie, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who joined us today. Be on the lookout for an email from Kelsey from Workshop. I'll send all of the resources covered today, all of the links that Claire and that we all shared in the chat today, and how to connect with both Jackie and Becky. And yeah, thank you again.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.